Luck of the Irish. There is a reason why pregnant women are not allowed on planes. It always brings bad news. Not only was there a complete lack of doctors on the flight, forcing a guy whose only qualification was seeing a movie that one time where the pilot of a plane had to deliver a baby in midair during a snowstorm, at some point, the coke ran out, which was a big bummer. It was a complete disaster. They were stuck up in the air. A coked-up pilot was trying to deliver a baby and fly a plane. The passengers were freaking because at some point the pilot went to go do a line and dumped his stash in the ventilation system, but the worst was still to come. Everyone knows that a plane should land with the same number of passengers, as otherwise, the paperwork is a complete bitch. And everyone knows that in war and paperwork, all is fair. After all the effort of bringing the munchkin to the world, it would be silly to just off her then and there, so someone had to volunteer. Or been made a volunteer. Once the plane lands, 82 people are fully armed with plastic knives and packets of peanuts. Including the baby, who is ready for her first proper bloodbath. 82 passengers may have landed, but only 81 are getting out. But this wasn't the case, in a hopeless effort to rid themselves of a body. The flight attendant opened the door to toss out the lucky person. She did this without thinking, as the cabin depressurized, causing the plane to crash. On the ground among the burning wreckage, they found a crying newborn baby holding a plastic knife. Some say after we die, we turn into other things, trees, birds, dogs. Maybe cats that chase the birds, or the birds that are eaten by the cats. But babies grow up. That's the way things are. The baby they found at the crash site was named after the man that found him. An Irish man named John O'Sullivan. The alley smelled of cigarettes and gutter. A rusting door leached harsh tones from the music inside. Dumpsters hid the lone shark from view. Washington, or the dollar man to his friends because all he had was $1 most of the times until his luck changed, he was slumped against the wall, waiting. John was supposed to be there by 2 with the money, but it was inching toward 3. Washington flicked his cigarette to the concrete and rubbed it out with his foot. Sometimes if you did it just right, bouncing a cigarette off the wall at the sparks would remind him of the 4th of July, one of the only times he has ever won any money. Sighing, he opened the metal door and walked into the club. Washington had won this place in a bet, girls' money. It was all on the table, and with a roll of the dice, he took it all. The bet was simple: if he lost, the guy got to beat his brains out with a baseball bat. If he won, he got the bar, the money, and the girls, and the owner got the bat. The only catch was he couldn't bet anymore, and if he did, it would have to be the same bet with a person that owed him money. Kat swirled around the sleek chrome pole, glancing down at Washington when he walked in. She winked at the manager and he waved, distracted by something. She kept working the pole, swaying and gyrating to the music, picking the right beats for removing an item from her costume. Not that anyone was really watching. One man sat in the audience drooling on himself, passed out after too many drinks. Still, Kat slinked across the stage, practicing if nothing else, wondering how she might get the drunk into the back alley for a little snack. Money was money, and this is a dirty world. John's hands trembled over the application. He looked up when the manager walked into the empty, spotless kitchen. "Hey John," Washington said. "I've got to go out on an errand. Can you watch the place? Make sure there's no trouble." "Sure, boss," John replied, relieved. He dropped the pen on the culinary scholarship application. He could fill it out later. Trying not to think of the deadline, he walked out of the kitchen. Washington followed, keys in one hand, baseball bat in the other. When they emerged to the bar floor, the place was empty. Kat must have moved to one of the VIP rooms. John and Washington exchanged glances and shrugged. John settled himself at the bar, leaning on crossed arms and watching the light show. The front door slammed shut after Washington. John sat there thinking of ways he could pay back the dollar man. The next night, John met Washington before he unlocked the bar. "I don't have your money and I can't keep working for you, Washington." Washington reached into his breast pocket and pulled out 2 bone dice. "You know, John, these are made from human bone. The guy I got them from used to own this bar, roll snake eyes, and the bar is yours, but there's one catch. You got to bash my head in with this baseball bat." "What if I lose?" John asked. "I bash your head in and add another notch to this baseball bat." John grabbed the dice. As the dice flew from his hands, they bounced off the cement wall with a loud crack. Looking down, John smiled. "I rolled snake eyes." You could hear this for miles. Washington dropped the bat and then down to his knees. Looking up at John, saying, "I guess my time is up." John reached down and picked up the old wooden baseball bat. Looking down at the dollar man, "I guess you're right. Time's up, Washington," John told him, hefting the baseball bat. Moments later, John stood there with Washington at his feet, and blood dripping from the bat. Kat walked up behind him, putting her arm around him, saying, "I guess you're my new boss, can you loan me a few dollars?"